Good evening and welcome to the fall edition of Perspectives. I'm Alana Neal.
And I'm Cassandra Santiago.
On Perspectives, we give you a different outlook on the latest topics that matter to you.
Tonight, we'll give you an inside look at how students of color handle the pressure of racism.
And how fashion can blur the line between two cultures on campus.
That and more to come. But first, tonight Perspectives reporter Joshua Housing shows us how fear and ignorance can turn into aggression towards people of color in Iowa City.
Growing up on the south side of Chicago, I've never been a stranger to racism or microaggressions. From an early age, I can recall events where people would look at me differently or treat me strangely because I look different from them. From little things like women clenching their purses or large events where I've been outright called the N-word, all because my skin color was different from their own. I refused to believe that racism was a thing that was only isolated to me, so I sought out other students of color to hear their story and how they deal with racism in their lives. Which led me to students like Christy, a Chinese-American student who frequents an anonymous social media site called Yik Yak, which is often riddled with racist comments about Asian students. Or a student like Sean, who when he sees the police, he instinctively tries to compose himself to avoid being harassed or arrested. And Reggie, who feels black men are far too often pigeonholed into two archetypes, angry or the entertainer. And then there's Tosin, a student that's grown up on two separate continents and is somehow always too Nigerian or too American to fit in. Although one thing was consistent amongst everyone I interviewed, every person just wanted to be looked at as an individual and not a color.
I don't know about you, Cassandra, but I love hip-hop music.
I do too, Alana, especially rap.
Of course, there are some great hip-hop and rap artists out there, but as we will find out now, not all of these artists sell music that impact black men in a positive light. Perspective reporters Fabiola Sanchez has the story.
After the deaths of Michael Brown, Eric Gardner, and John Crawford, conversations about the criminalization of African American youth have been reignited. Ahmad Washington, an associate professor at South Carolina State University, visited the UIowa campus in an attempt to start a discussion over the tough questions that have been raised. He compared present hip-hop to the positive messages in old hip-hop music.
Skip Coon essentially is talking about the same things when he says, look at the monster oppression made me. A witness to street gang cracks in the 80s, cousins in the state and the Fed and the Navy. Those people are there because of ecological forces that created suburbs over here, and through redlining creates ghettos over here.
While some old hip-hop music uplifted black men, present music tends to fall into the black stereotype. Upcoming music producer Drury Hollingshed can see a difference.
You know, it was like a way of freedom. Also, it was like a way to, kind of revolutionize, like, certain things.
As hip-hop continues to change, for now, Washington will continue to analyze the positive and the negative effects.
There's no need to attribute those differences.
Fabiola Sanchez, Perspective News.
Interesting story, Fabiola. Now we take you to another side of society, women in the professional world.
That's right. Perspectives reporter Hannah Adamson dives into how women in Iowa City are breaking an Iowa economic trend, which isn't shaping up well to the rest of the nation.
In the heart of downtown Cedar Rapids, Lydia Brown, CEO of Ascent Iowa, works hard to empower the lives of young businesswomen.
In 2012, I started a company called Ascent. Ascent is focused on the growth of women-owned businesses in Iowa. Iowa actually ranks last in the nation as it relates to the economic impact of women-owned businesses, and I just felt like somebody needed to do something.
Brown's views also resonate with U of I student organization Women in Business. The group strives to change Iowa's low ranking in terms of the economic impact of women-owned businesses.
We focus on networking, building our leadership skills of our members, community service, and professional development. I've gained a lot of leadership skills and been able to apply those skills in a variety of settings. I've developed professionally, I've learned how to present myself in a professional manner, and I've made lasting friendships.
In addition to Women in Business, The John Papa John Entrepreneurial Center, also known as JPEC, offers aspiring entrepreneurs resources to turn their business ideas into a reality. Deanna Dozer, University of Iowa student and founder of Deanna Marie Cosmetics, says JPEC has helped her reach her goals by providing networking opportunities as well as one-on-one sessions with her JPEC mentor.
Because we meet every week, it's given me motivation to complete certain tasks by that time so that I have something to talk to him about. So it's just been very helpful to have someone behind you and know that, if I'm stressed out and I don't know what to do next, there's someone here that can help.
There is still growth to be done in terms of women-owned businesses in Iowa, yet some women are working towards changing the current economic trend. At the John Papa John Entrepreneurial Center, Hannah Adamson, Perspectives.
There is another woman in Iowa City who's making a new start here at the University of Iowa.
Perspectives reporter Selena Carr shows us a new professor's journey into sociology and African American Studies department here on campus.
Meet Assistant Professor Jessica Welburn. Welburn is one of the newest additions to the University of Iowa faculty.
After you're away for a while, you realize that Iowa City and the University of Iowa actually do provide a lot of really excellent opportunity.
But Welburn is no stranger to Iowa City. She grew up here and moved away for college. Her parents even worked for the University of Iowa, influencing her decision to come back.
I decided it was a good fit for me to move back after having been away for so long.
Welburn received graduate degrees from Harvard University and the University of Michigan, but only shortly after finding her current career path as an undergrad at the University of Pennsylvania.
I worked for a professor named Camille Charles, and for the first time, I was introduced to the fact that people could systematically study race, and that there were faculty members that did that and study issues that I was interested in.
Outside of teaching, Welburn is writing her own book on the African American experience in Detroit, and she's helping write a collaborative book manuscript comparing how minority groups around the world handle racism and discrimination.
So I'm a qualitative researcher. So that means that I interview people, I do in-depth interviews, and so I really enjoy the opportunity to allow them to tell their stories and give them voice through systematic data analysis and presentation of findings.
For UI students interested in her class, she offers nothing but advice.
If you guys are watching, do the readings. Really immerse yourself in the material, whether it be keeping abreast of current events or making sure that you are aware of what's going on in campus.
Though Welburn's time at the university is just beginning,
it's good to be back in Iowa City. It's good to see some familiar faces, some new faces, and it's just a great opportunity.
She's paving the path for UI students to find their interests in sociology and African American studies, just like she did. Selena Carr, Perspectives.
If you're like me, style can mean everything.
Of course, I completely agree.
But to some people, fashion can be more than just the clothes on their back. Perspectives reporter Molly Shen takes a look at how fashion translates into cultural trends.
Hi, I'm Molly at Old Capitol Mall. Today, I will be interviewing Asian and American students about contrast style fashion. Let's see what they have to say. What defines your style?
I don't really have a defined style.
Kind of European, trendy, modern.
I like to be a little flashy, that's why I got these shoes. I don't know if you can get those on camera.
I tend to wear whatever I think is comfortable. A lot of people don't think skinny jeans are comfortable, but I do.
I particularly like animal print, like leopard, snake print.
What do you think about Asian students' styles compared with American?
It's a little different. Yeah, I like it. It's unique.
I either think it's really good or really weird.
Asian students got some very interesting styles. I like a lot of the stuff I see. My roommate is from China, so I get an up close look at some of his style.
They're more like sweet girl dressing. I'm just talking about girls, and American girls are more like sporty, like casual, like outdoorsy.
On the university campus, you might think American students wear pajamas or sweatpants to class, but international students do not do that. So what do you think about people wear pajamas to go to class?
Yeah, I'm definitely not a huge fan.
A lot of people wear pajamas because it's just easier to like roll out of bed and go to class, but I think you should probably get dressed in the morning.
I've never done it. I've worn sweatpants while I go to class a couple times, lazy days. What are you going to do?
Professor would think maybe you should have a serious attitude when you're attending lectures, so maybe pajama is not a good choice.
I don't think it's very professional, nor presentable.
He said personal bias from Asian and American students, our view of what culture is can stop us from seeing just how unique we are, especially when it comes to the way we dress. Knowledge, Perspective News.
A lot of students have some interesting styles on campus, and I never linked it back to culture.
Me either. Great story, Molly. And with that, this leads us to the end of our fall edition of Perspectives.
But before we go, make sure you stay tuned for our spring edition of Perspectives in just a few months.
We hope you got a new perspective on things happening right here in Iowa City that matter to you.
Thanks for joining us, and have a great night.